You're listening to Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rusnak. The biennial WMC McLellan Competition provides emerging Manitoba-born or Manitoba-educated musicians the unique opportunity to perform alongside the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra and compete for $20,000 in career funding. The final round is this Thursday at Jubilee Place Auditorium, and in the lead-up, we're inviting you to meet the McLellan finalists over the airwaves. Our next guest is pianist Jammie Lee. Welcome to Winnipeg's Classic 107.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it's wonderful to have you here. So, Jammie, you're a rather recent McGill University grad, and I think given all of your musical successes, including this upcoming McLellan Finals appearance, that it'd be fair to assume that you went there to study music. But,
Right.
but what was your degree in?
So my degree was actually in a Bachelor of Science, and I majored in physiology, minored in chemistry, but music is still a very serious pursuit for me, and I really enjoy it, and I want to continue playing it.
I'm curious about this because, obviously that's a pretty involved program, going through that. How did you manage to keep up your piano chops? Were you studying with someone out there? How did you go about doing that?
No, actually, and you're right. It was definitely very troublesome to keep up my practicing there, but I did have a Yamaha P515, which is a digital keyboard, at my apartment, so at my own leisure, I just practiced there sometimes.
That's absolutely wild. And here you are finding success in the WMC McLellan competition. Clearly, you've had plenty of successes reading through your bio, national and international competitions, award-winning, top awards. Have you ever... I guess sort of my next question is, what's next for you? Obviously, you've got this science background. You're clearly very, very talented as a pianist. Where do you see yourself going in the future?
I guess, first in my career-wise, so I did apply for medical school this year at the University of Manitoba here, so I'll be hearing back pretty soon, and if things work out, I'll be attending there starting this fall. Musical career-wise, I think my main goal is to just stay as musically active as I can. Despite my other commitments, I still really enjoy playing music, and I hope to continue that, and I hope to continue enthralling my audiences with my music.
Well, wishing you successes in no matter what you're up to. Fingers crossed about hearing back from the Faculty of Medicine here at the University of Manitoba. And clearly you've demonstrated that you're more than capable of doing two things at the same time. So I'm curious, you were born in South Korea before moving to Canada, growing up in Brandon. When did you start playing the piano?
So I started my piano lessons early back in Korea when I was 5 years old, and I attended the Seoul Arts Academy there when I was 6 years old. And after moving here, I started my studies with Dr. Kyung Kim at the Brandon University. And after that, when I was 14, I studied with Dr. Lawrence Jones. So I've had a long history of very excellent teachers in Brandon, and I was very fortunate to have those teachers. And here I am now, just kind of on my own, still being very musically active in Winnipeg here, and I'm happy to do that. So yeah.
One of the most unique aspects about the WMC McLellan competition is that soloists get the opportunity to perform with a full orchestra. This is the only competition in the province that does afford that opportunity to young players. But you've performed with the WSO before, back in 2016.
Right.
How old were you in your debut?
I think I was 15 years old at that time. And
That's wild. And where did the performance take place? In Brandon, right?
Oh, that was actually in Winnipeg at
Was
the
that
Centennial
here?
Hall. Yes.
Oh boy. Well, that's absolutely incredible. What do you remember about that experience?
It was very special. That was my first time playing with an orchestra, and it was with the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra at that, so I think it was really exciting. And funnily enough, I actually played the Rachmaninoff's Rhapsody on a Theme of Paganini, but just two variations from it. So, yeah. And
you're going to be performing that work, the full set
yes,
of variations.
That's what I'm excited about.
for this McLellan final. I'm curious, what have you performed with orchestra since? Like, what do you remember about that experience? Or is it sort of like starting fresh when you kind of return to this music and get ready to perform with the WSO?
Right. I think when I was 15 years old, it was really something special. I've only had really just solo experience, or I've had concerto experience, but with second piano instead of an orchestra. So I thought that was one of the most breathtaking experiences I've had in my musical career, and that was my debut with the orchestra. And so on this time, I guess 8 years fast forward, I'm really excited to be back with the WSO, and it's a really tremendous opportunity.
A tremendous opportunity it is, and one of those afforded by the Women's Musical Club of Winnipeg. Just such a fantastic finals this is. Let's chat a little bit more about the Rhapsody on a Theme by Paganini, of Paganini by Rachmaninoff. 24 variations on that 24th Caprice.
Yes, by Niccolo Paganini.
Exactly. Do you have a favorite?
Ooh, that's a That's a tough question. I mean, I think a lot of them are really great, although the 18th variation is hard to not love.
Yeah, the famous one, the inversion, right?
Yes,
the
exactly.
gorgeous
The one
melody.
in
Yeah,
D flat
yeah.
major, I think that's just gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a real stunner.
The orchestra really has that full sound supporting you. The last variation, I love to hear it, but hate to play it because it's it's extraordinarily difficult technically. So.
You know, one thing that's so striking about the work that you're going to be playing, also earlier this morning, we had one of the other finalists on, Sam Nadarak, who's going to be performing the variations on a Rococo theme at Tchaikovsky. And he mentioned that sort of similarly, he loves that last one, but it's very difficult to play. Can you talk about building your stamina and kind of keeping that momentum going to that 24th and final variation? How do you go about prepping for a performance like this?
Oh, a lot of slow practice for sure, and a couple of run-throughs. I think variations 19 through 24 is all just really virtuosic stuff.
Yeah.
So, but there are some breaks in variation 22, especially with the small chords. That's where you really have to kind of measure and calculate how you're going to spend your energy for the rest of the variations.
Rachmaninoff, one of those famously talented composer pianists, but even he was a little bit nervous to play this particular work. He famously had a little glass of creme de menthe before performing it.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah. To sort of steady the nerves, if you will. How are you feeling about it going in? No pressure after that little story.
Oh, well, I'll see tonight after the rehearsal with the WSO, but I'm feeling overall pretty confident about it. I've done quite a few run-throughs with all the variations. Hopefully things go well.
Full fingers crossed for you and wishing you great success. One last question for you. What does it mean to you to be a WMC McLellan finalist, and what does it mean to have this made it thus far in the competition?
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, I think two things. I think one is the chance to play with the orchestra, which I think is a very rare opportunity for soloists. So I think it's a really valuable opportunity, and I'm sure it will help me in multiple ways in advancing my musical career and helping me grow as a musician. And also the prize money, I think, the $20,000 total cash prize pool is extremely generous, and I'm sure it's going to help a lot of young musicians in a lot of ways. And also the fact that I get to perform alongside some really extraordinarily talented musicians, I think is also very inspiring and helps me grow that way as well.
Well, looking forward to hearing you up there at the Jubilee Auditorium. The concert takes place Thursday, April 18th, 7:30 p.m. Tickets are just $40 with special pricing available for those under 30 and those under 12 who might be listening. WMCWPG.ca. Tickets are also available at the door. We've also got details up on the homepage, classic107.com. Jammie, we're going to end with a little bit of your playing. What are we going to hear?
I guess we're going to hear the Chopin Etude, Opus 25, number 11 in A minor, also known as The Winter Winds. And so that is one of the hardest Chopin etudes, but it's been a core repertoire piece for me. So I hope you enjoy.
Well, thanks so much for being here, Jammie, and wishing you great success on Thursday.
Thanks so much.